Welcome in, everyone. It is Friday, June 20th, 2025. Happy Friday, and I have breaking news for you tonight. Hiding in Arizona under an alias of Lee Moore, Barry Morphew was located by detectives today, June 20th, 2025, and arrested. This action comes after a Colorado grand jury made the decision on Wednesday, June 18th, 2025, to hand down an indictment of first-degree M for Mr. Morphew in relation to the death of his wife, 49-year-old Suzanne Morphew. Buckle up. We're going to listen to the press conference. He is in custody in Maricopa County, Arizona, here where I am, the same place where we now have Lori Daybell and Barry Morphew in custody in our jails. This is all occurring 5 years and 1 month after Suzanne was last seen when she went on a Mother's Day bike ride in 2020, May of 2020. This comes 3 years after the first charges of M were dropped against Morphew, and I'll explain that why in a minute, and also 21 months after Suzanne was recovered. May she rest in peace. So let's go ahead and cover some of the details. Please hit that notification bell, sub to the channel, and don't miss tomorrow's live where I am going to read and go through with you the 10-page indictment by the grand jury. And if you're unfamiliar with the case, we are going to do a deep dive in the timeline and map it out on the maps. And it is the state of Colorado. And they are going to attempt to extradite him back now so he can stand trial. So he was arrested. He is in custody. His jail, he's in the county jail here in Maricopa County, Arizona. His bond was set at $3 million cash. And the 12th District Attorney's Office from Colorado said they are seeking to bring him back. He is being charged of suspected of killing of unaliving, of Suzanne on Mother's Day 2020. Now, Suzanne was on a bike ride when she went missing, and the indictment revealed that she was reported missing by neighbors that same day. The indictment is absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. Her autopsy revealed her death a homicide, a powerful mix of sedatives used by veterinarians, by the way, for animals, a powerful mix of sedatives, butyrophenol, azaparone, and metamidine, or BAM, as it's called, the acronym BAM, was found in her system. BAM is commonly used for sedating animals for medical treatment or movement, according to a medical expert cited in Friday's indictment. We're going to read it all tomorrow, so hit that notification bell. It's 10 pages. Barry Morphew was the only private citizen in the south central Colorado counties where the Suzanne Morphew death investigation unfolded, who had access to the mix of drugs in her system when she died, according to a new indictment. Crazy, right? As prosecutors in Colorado and law enforcement in Colorado, they said they are very dedicated to making sure they don't forget the victims of cold case homicides, because we're talking 5 years right now. But we also understand that it is so important to make sure that we have done everything we can to bring a case to court, and we are proud of the work that we've done, Kelly said. We are going to listen to the press conference now. This is the district attorney for the 12th Judicial District of Colorado, the state of Colorado, and this is full credit to Denver 7 ABC. I will be stopping it throughout for criticism, comment, and education.
I appreciate the members of the media that are here today. I scheduled this briefing to provide an update on the investigation that has been in the hearts and minds of the people of Chaffee County since Mother's Day of 2020. Suzanne Morphew was reported missing on Mother's Day 5 years ago. Law enforcement has never stopped working to obtain justice for this mother of two, this daughter, this sister, and this beloved member of the Chaffee County community. Through the tireless efforts of the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, the Saguache County Sheriff's Office, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I can announce today that the 12th Judicial District Grand Jury returned an indictment. The grand jury has indicted Barry Morphew on the single count of murder in the first degree. Law enforcement, the Chaffee County community, and Colorado as a whole has never stopped fighting for justice for Suzanne. Cold case homicides are tremendously difficult. They're difficult for the families of the victims and the communities who wait patiently for answers. While it may seem at times that the world forgets about these victims, I can assure you that my law enforcement partners and Colorado's law enforcement community do not forget. Every unsolved murder is a tragedy, and we must never give up on our efforts to find answers in these cases. My office will be prosecuting the indictment as Suzanne's remains were found in Saguache County, which is a county within my jurisdiction, the 12th Judicial District. I am extremely appreciative of Michael Doherty, who is the elected district attorney in Boulder County. He has consistently committed material resources to small rural DA's offices like mine to assist in the sometimes Herculean efforts to bring justice for victims in rural areas of our state. His commitment to rural Colorado he's continued his commitment with this case. He's provided me with the assistance of a chief deputy in the Boulder County District Attorney's Office to assist me with the investigation and the prosecution.
And we will map it all out tomorrow so we understand where Suzanne lived, where she was found, the jurisdictions, and all of that. This is the 12th Judicial District in Colorado. And this is the district attorney, and they are going to prosecute. This is the second time. The first time it was dropped for prosecutorial misconduct, excuse me. And I will go through all of that with you in detail tomorrow as well, along with the 10-page indictment, the full timeline of the case so we can do a deep dive, and we will map it out.
Colorado's community of prosecutors is committed to assisting wherever the need arises. In addition to Mr. Doherty's assistance, District Attorney John Walsh of the Denver District Attorney's Office has committed to providing me with appellate guidance during the case proceedings. So today I have with me Chaffee County Sheriff Andy Rorick. I stand united with Sheriff Rorick and Under Sheriff Alex Walker. I stand united in announcing this indictment. Through this process, I have seen firsthand how deeply Sheriff Rorick and Under Sheriff Alex Walker and the entire Sheriff's Department in Chaffee County cares about this case. I am proud and appreciative of our cross-jurisdictional partnership and their hard and excellent work. I also stand with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, who has never wavered in its commitment to this investigation. providing essential intelligence and investigative resources and expertise through the years. I also recognize and appreciate our continued partnership with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation has done incredible work, and their CBI agents and analysts have worked very, very hard to advance the goal of finding answers in this investigation. Here representing the CBI is Agent in Charge Chris Adams with CBI's Pueblo office. I also stand with Saguache County Sheriff Dan Warwick, who is here with me as well. He and his office immediately answered the call to action when Suzanne's remains were found in the county he represents. Sheriff Warwick and his deputies are an essential part of this team, responding to the recovery of Suzanne's remains with the highest level of dignity and professionalism. I also want to continue to recognize what I have come to expect in my years as a prosecutor, and that is multi-jurisdictional and multi-state cooperation and partnership. I want to recognize the Arizona Department of Public Safety, who immediately responded to our team's request for assistance in locating and arresting Barry Morphew in the Phoenix area. Mr. Morphew will be held by Arizona authorities pending extradition proceedings in that state. And upon conclusion of those proceedings, Mr. Morphew will be transported to Alamosa County to stand trial on the indictment. This indictment has been unsealed upon the arrest of Mr. Morphew.
Mr. Morphew Barry was arrested in Arizona. He is in the Maricopa County jails under $10 million cash bond. He was hiding in Arizona under an alias of Lee Moore. Lee, L-E-E, Moore. So hiding out, and detectives found him. She's doing a fabulous job. One thing I want to comment on is her theme. They seem to be able to solve crimes when they work together, right? When they work as a team with the sheriffs and the DAs and across counties and across the state. Pueblo, where she's talking about, is further south. Across the counties, across the states, a united effort, because when lives matter, egos don't, right? It's teamwork. It's collaboration to serve, to protect, to solve, to bring answers to families. Egos have no place. And it just makes you question, why wouldn't someone call in every resource that they could? Phenomenal so far in her press conference. This is regarding the arrest and indictment of Barry Morphew. He was arrested in Arizona today, Friday, June 20th.
I asked for this briefing to provide you with an update and provide information to the community. Me and my team recognize the importance of being laser focused on the prosecution and to speak with one voice. And so for that reason, all of the agencies that have been involved in getting us to this place, as well as the prosecutors that have been willing to assist me in this investigation and prosecution, they have all been instructed to send any media requests to my office. And so that's what I'd ask of you. In an effort to be transparent, I'd like to thank the the Office of the Judicial District in this district for making the indictment immediately available. And so you can get a copy of that indictment on the state judicial's website. It is linked on a page labeled Cases of Interest, and it's under Alamosa. Barry Morphew is presumed innocent in this case and that presumption remains with him unless and until he is convicted at trial. And so once again, thank you for allowing me to provide an update to the community on this very important case. And I can take a couple of questions if you have them. Yes, sir.
What was Barry doing in the Phoenix area?
And thank you for the question. The question was, what was Barry doing in the Phoenix area? I appreciate the question, and that information was still being gathered. We have been working very, very hard to make sure that we run down anything we can with respect to this investigation, and our law enforcement officers will certainly be following that. Yes, sir.
In the indictment, you noted that pharmacology expert testified that BAM would render the recipient unable to resist any constrictions to the recipient's ability to breathe. Do you believe the dosage of BAM was so great it killed her, or that she was so incapacitated she was strangled herself?
And thank you for that question. I am looking forward to having our team present all of those facts in a court of law. Obviously, I would like to be able to provide my comments, but my ethical obligations will not allow me to. However, I am very appreciative of the Judicial Department for making that indictment available, and I look forward to having our team present this case in court. Yes, ma'am.
Why now?
That's a great question. And so we, as prosecutors in Colorado and law enforcement in Colorado, we are very dedicated to making sure that we don't forget the victims of cold case homicides. But we also understand that it is so important to make sure that we have done everything we can to bring a case to court. And we are proud of the work that we've done. Every victim of homicide, murder in Colorado deserves that kind of attention, deserves that kind of work from law enforcement. And I would say that having the opportunity to work on these cases and to bring justice for these victims has been very important to me. Yes. Yeah, let me.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Was Morphew surprised at all when he was taking the test? Was he expecting this?
And thank you for that question. The question is whether or not Morphew, what Mr. Morphew's reaction was. And I can tell you that that's going to be part of the case, and we look forward to presenting that in front of a jury. Yes, sir.
So the male DNA was found in Suzanne's car. Are you moving forward? Are you guys using that evidence for this trial? Tell us more about that.
And thank you for that question. The indictment has a wealth of information about that particular topic, as well as the probable cause that supports the arrest in this case. And obviously, we are going to do everything we can to make sure that justice is done for Suzanne. And that includes being as thorough as we can about the facts of the case.
Another question. When you arrest
Real quick, I just wanted to say, she said that he's talking about the male DNA, and she said that is in the indictment. We will be going over that indictment together tomorrow. Don't miss it. I love the way she thanks everyone for their questions. She repeated the first question, which is great. Just very professional. And one thing that is just very refreshing is to hear when she says all cold cases and M cases deserve the work from law enforcement and justice for the victims. Just really great. 5 years later, and they were still working at it, and now he's indicted and arrested.
Barry, Arizona, so that's still investigating right now with Arizona law enforcement.
So the Arizona Department of Public Safety has been an incredible partner for us. They organized immediately when we asked them to respond when we received the indictment. So I very much want to thank the Arizona Department of Safety. About you, sir.
What will be the biggest difference between the prosecution of this case and the time versus back in 2021?
And the question is, what would be the difference between the prosecution of this case and other prosecutions? You know, justice for cold case homicide victims remains a priority in the state of Colorado, both for prosecutors and for law enforcement. And that's despite any challenges that we may have had in the history of any particular case. That remains a priority for us. And so we have worked very hard to move forward in the case. This case is a different case, and I would refer you back to the indictment in this case. And we've worked very hard to move forward. Yes, sir.
On an emotional level or on a personal level, and it's okay if you repeat yourself, can you talk about the journey your journey from the day this was dismissed until today? Just broad strokes, just tell us that story.
Well, thank you for that question. The question is, what has this process looked like, essentially? What has this process been like for the family, for the community, for our law enforcement partners? And I can tell you that it has been a long road. It has been a long road, and the families of the victim have been so patient. The community has been so patient. But I can tell you that our law enforcement officers have never forgot, have never given up. And they have been working so hard to get to the place where we are today. And so it is never enough to say we're just going to forget about it because it's too hard. And so that has been the process for me. And I'll take maybe one more question here in the front.
Can you elaborate further on where Suzanne's remains were found in relation to Moffett? I know it's undisclosed, but can you provide more details about where she was found?
So it was in and around the town of Moffett, and that raises an important question that I want to address. And so the remains of Suzanne Morphew were found in Saguache County, and that's obviously a county in my jurisdiction. And so jurisdiction in this county is appropriate. I can tell you that I have reached out to and contacted my friend and colleague, elected District Attorney Jeff Lindsay, who currently covers Chaffee County. He is in full support of our efforts to prosecute this case here and has committed to providing any resources that we need to prosecute this case.
How did you know Morphew was in Arizona?
And the question is I'm sorry, can you say that again?
How did you know Barry was in Arizona?
And I appreciate that question. We obviously have never given up on this investigation. And so working with our law enforcement partners, we were able to make that determination.
Could anyone else possibly face charges?
So right now we have the indictment in front of us, and we're committed to working hard to get that done. So, and this will be the last question. Thank you so much.
Just one last question. From a community perspective, the community's been through a lot with the district attorney's office. And we've watched you take it over and repair it, stand here with law enforcement, something this community might not have seen in the past. We've watched you build a staff. Now we're at the point where we've got all kinds of television cameras here because you've done what you've done in this particular case. Speak to what kind of satisfaction you have and gotten here, and is the job done with your staff, and can you now move forward?
Well, and thank you. The question relates to the status of our district attorney's office and where we've been in the last 3 years. And thank you for the question. The effort that we undertook to come to the San Luis Valley, that I undertook to come to the San Luis Valley and build the district attorney's office was quite tremendous. But I can tell you that the collaboration of prosecutors across the state to assist me, to assist my staff, to assist law enforcement has been absolutely tremendous. It is a testament to how strong our law enforcement community is and how united the prosecutors in the state of Colorado are. And so assisting me in building the office in the San Luis Valley, that is a testament to the assistance that I've received across the state. So thank you for the question.
Thank you for what you've done.
One last question, and when do you expect Barry Morphew to show up in court?
Thank you. So he's currently being held by the authorities in Arizona. He will go through a process of extradition, and when that process concludes, he will be then transported back to Colorado. So thank you so much.
So you heard her. She's wonderful, well-spoken. Clearly from the media, you heard them to say, which I think is fabulous. She's brought a lot of good change to the DA's office. She was very gracious about it, but they said, thank you for all you do. And sometimes when you don't have, it sounds like they didn't have the right situation, but she just didn't go in on that. But she said, we're here and so she has brought a lot of change to the county. It sounds like good change. And she also contacted, because the remains were found in her county, the 12th Judicial District, they are going to be the ones prosecuting the indictment. And she contacted the DA, Jeff Lindsay, from Chaffee County, and he is in full agreement of them being the ones, Kelly being the ones to prosecute. There was male DNA found. That is in the indictment. We're reading it tomorrow, all 10 pages. There's a lot in there. It's been unsealed now that he's been arrested. He was hiding under an alias. Oh, and by the way, I will tell you, it was on news about a year ago in Arizona that he was spotted in a bar in Cave Creek, I believe. So really great. She says it's never her statement. And then we'll end it here, and I will see you tomorrow. We will dive deep. Timeline. Suzanne was a mother of 2. She deserves this justice. And I am so glad they didn't just give up. Like she said, her quote, "It is never okay to say we're just going to forget about it because it's too hard." And they did not. And they brought in partners. They worked with whoever they could to figure it out, to get an indictment, to locate him living under an alias in Arizona. And he is back behind bars. Justice for Suzanne Morphew, her 2 children, the rest of her family, her friends. Prayers up. This is in the right direction 5 years down the road. Thank you for joining me. Please join me tomorrow when we do a deep dive in the case, the indictment, and we are going to map it. Thank you so much. Talk soon and keep keeping on.